Welcome back, Panther fans. I'm David Brown here with Ryan Graham,
Hey, y'all.
Tim Thurber,
Hello.
and this is State of Atlanta. Everybody's drinking beer tonight. Wow, it's been a while for this.
I pretty much always drink beer.
Well, you drink wine, you drink gin, you spill beer.
My favorite nights are the wine nights. Those are usually the most entertaining.
Yeah.
The wine hits you. Yeah, Ryan does not process the wine as well as he processes PBR.
It's this this acid reflux, man. It has like really killed my desire to have wine.
Oof.
It's so acidic. Like beer's already kind of a struggle, but like, it's worth it.
Getting
Wine
old.
is, yeah.
Getting old must suck, dude.
Last time I had, so I'm gonna get into the gritty details of what's going on.
Oh
but
yeah,
like
this is exactly how.
This is the breaking news. We want to throw it out there.
do that. No, last time I had wine, I woke up in the middle of the night like choking on my bile. I mean, it was bad. So I was like, you know what?
Can't do this.
Maybe I'll chill on the wine for a little bit.
There you go.
Good move on your part. Yeah.
Maybe jump out of the box wine, get into actually some better quality wine.
It's just the acidity.
It is.
It's wine in general is going to do it. So
just chug some baking soda.
yeah, do that.
Yeah, make your
Or
gut explode.
And hear me out. Drink beer.
There's also beer. I'm a fan.
Or
Cheers.
other assorted things that may alter your mind.
There you go.
That.
All right,
There's
guys.
That. Yeah.
Good weekend, guys. Good time.
Yeah. Why not? Play video games. I didn't do nothing, man. It was great.
Exciting. Well, awesome. I returned to the role of bocce champion last night. My team, after a several-year hiatus of winning, we took home the championship last night in our league. So yes, all credit to me. All
golf claps.
Yes, all around. We need to start a bocce. Bocce needs to become an NCAA sport. I could really get into that.
That would be a good sport because it encourages the drinking, both sides, fans and players, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we get up there at the bar and we're playing. We play at Painted Pen over there in Buckhead, like Miami Circle, and we've been playing. The same team's been playing for years, and it gets pretty raucous. We have a good time. Like people stick around just to watch the championship game, or the playoffs, and everything. So it was a good time last night on a Monday night. Exactly what you need for a weekend. How are you going to start your Monday? Going to a bar until 11 o'clock at night. That's what we're doing.
Woo!
So you guys are serious players and drinkers.
Yes.
All the Georgia State students who listen to it is like 11. Wow,
exactly.
Guys.
I'm just going out at 11. Or starting to get ready.
Exactly. You're like, my night's ending and it's been fun and raucous.
I was Ubering
like,
home, drunk and pissed. Yeah.
So I was asking you about this before. Ben Moore is on Twitter talking about like Avengers Assemble and stuff, and I asked him what it was about, and he just is teasing. He's teasing. He gave me another GIF that just says "Stay tuned."
Well, I think this is obviously him just.
Right.
He has had to like take a lot from what we do here, and I think he's gone into our Marvel fandom in Last Call, and he's trying to associate it to Georgia State, make it his own thing, because that conniving Ben Moore will just take from everyone and never give anything of his own original material.
He can't have our A train, right?
He can't have our A train. He's like the repost captain, right?
I was surprised he let that post stay because it's pretty bloody and gross.
It was in the thread, the State of Atlanta thread. I think he probably gives us a little bit of leeway in there. Anyhow,
maybe.
Creative freedoms. We have that.
I posted it and I was like, yeah, this might get deleted, but F it.
Whatever. All right. So the first thing I want to talk about tonight, it was kind of funny. Speaking of Panther Talk, somebody had posted about the kickoff luncheons that they were doing pre-pandemic, which I always thought were cool. They would do them at the stadium. You'd get the head coach would get up there and talk a bit. Athletic director would talk a bit. Everyone has Panther dining cuisine, and you can actually get the opportunity to have a coach and a player to sit at the table with you, or just sit around. And it's a lot of fun. It happens, on a weekday right before the season starts, but it's a good way to get prep for the season and get a little FaceTime with the staff and everything. I thought it was great. So anyhow, someone posted about it, and then we're like, oh man, that was a lot of fun. I miss going to those things. And literally the next day, they announced the luncheon, or maybe even later that day they announced the luncheon. So it's happening on August 23rd, and I'm pumped about it. So much so that State of Atlanta has purchased a table, which will include 8 seats, a coach, and a player, and we will be giving away some of those seats to sit with us and the coaches and players to our Patreon members. So
I think that's an awesome gesture for you, David, to go all out and get a table.
Yeah, I think it's been a lot of fun. Tim, you haven't actually committed. Are you going to be able to make it to the thing?
I actually have to look at my schedule to see if I can rearrange some stuff and make it.
I think you're going to have COVID that day.
That feels like a no.
Yeah. I haven't even looked yet. I do have a question though. Is there a liquid lunch option? Or is this all on the up and up?
You do not go through a metal detector. You can bring any kind of flask you would like and doctor up your beverage of choice. But yeah, I don't ever recall them having alcohol at these things. But yeah, that's never stopped me before. So
do you know, I don't think I have ever been to one of these kickoff luncheons. I may have been to like one, maybe. No, I think I always miss them.
Oh, that's great. It's a lot of fun. It's a whole lot of fun. It's a little bit of a fancier affair. People are dressed a little bit nicer, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. But Ryan, you're definitely going to go. I'm going to be there. And yeah, so anybody that wants to join us, join our Patreon, patreon.com/State of Atlanta. You get as low as $3 and chance to win a type of list. I think we'll announce it probably this weekend.
What time is this lunch? I know it's on the 23rd, right? So what time is it at?
Noon probably. I don't know offhand.
I feel like it was like noon to 3 is what I think I remember.
I don't think it was that long. I don't think it was 3 hours.
Maybe
I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I can't believe it started that. Whatever. I should probably know that information. So
we'll figure it out. We got a couple weeks to figure it out.
12:30 to 2:30. I was real close. All right.
You were really you were off by a full hour, and
it narrowed though. You were right. It wasn't as long, but it narrowed.
Yeah, your window encapsulated exactly what it was going to be, off by bookending on 30 minutes. So yes, you win, Ryan. You are correct. You are correct. So
I always win, and I'm usually correct. So
there you go. There you go. All right, Tim, you sent out a slew of things to talk about. What do you want to talk about this week? And I say it should be the CBS college football rankings.
Well, who doesn't want to talk about the CBS college football rankings? We're ranked 80th. That's got to be the highest ranking we've ever had coming into the season. It has to be.
80th in out of all of FBS has got to be our highest starting a season.
Because I feel like we were always in the like 115 to 125, 8.
Oh yeah, we were always. It was getting into double digits. That was our goal. Just get to double digits. Once we
break the 100.
Yeah, and now we're 80. I'm excited about that. Obviously, we want to be better. I thought it was interesting. They had Coastal first in the Sun Belt at 36 overall.
Really? Which I thought it was Appy. Man,
Appy was ranked 42 overall. So just they're both kind of great. I think when it comes to these, once you get outside of that top 25, you can kind of bunch things together. So like Ryan, you made a comment.
I think once you're done with top 10.
Well, I'm just saying, like, so you made a comment in our chat that you were surprised that Marshall at 76 was rated higher than us at 80, and really that I don't even care. That's 76 and 80. That's the exact same number in this type of a ranking to me.
Yeah, they didn't actually sit down and say, well, is Marshall better than Georgia State? And like, should we really put them in? They didn't do that. They just chunked it, like you're saying.
Exactly.
You're absolutely right.
I don't care about that. And it kind of breaks out that way. You've got Coastal and Appy are the favorites at 36 and 42. I even consider that pretty much the same thing at that level. Although I think that there's some recency bias in this subjective rating system, and that's what's putting Coastal ahead. Because actually, DraftKings did their rankings, their strength power rankings, and Coastal came in, I think, third. Like they weren't even second. So, and when it comes down to betting, they're going to be a lot more objective about this than what CBS's scores.
I got to think Coastal got some style points for their mullets and their celebration dances. That's it.
Mullets and mustaches.
They're just getting a lot of love from the good season they had 2 seasons ago now. And, last season it sort of looked like they had a good one. We all know it wasn't really, right? They didn't have any quality wins at all. And so, they're still riding that wave, but it's a bubble, right?
And they're still scheduling the same way. They still have a pretty lax schedule. Their hardest games are in conference. And they lost their hardest games last year, which was against Appy and against us.
So, and I think us, we seem to be growing like, I don't know, it's like infrastructure, right? We're actually like building something here, and we're sort of slowly turning the ship where people gave us a lot of disrespect for a long time, and now it feels like people are tentatively respecting us, and it's really, as a fan, it feels real weird. Like having been through this and just like the way everybody's being positive about us, I'm just like, what's happening? What's going on? It
is an odd feeling because like we've been so down. Nobody has made fun of Georgia State more than Georgia State fans.
That's right.
Yeah, easily.
And so now when we start hearing people that are giving us respect, or I say giving the program respect, it's kind of like, wait. You got Georgia State, correct? The Atlanta Panthers. That's what you're talking about. Okay, yeah. I feel that way too. I didn't know anybody else did.
It's weird. It's weird to find more people like that.
I think it's a refreshing feeling overall. I mean,
sure.
Of course.
I mean, of course. We would go to every tailgate. Like, how are we going to do today? I don't know. This is we're playing so and so.
Are we a basketball school?
Maybe.
I remember saying that. I remember saying that to Ryan. In the Georgia Dome parking lot or tailgate one year when shortly after Coach Hunter got there and we were doing pretty cool. I'm like, I think, football was doing football things. And I'm like, maybe we're just a basketball school. And Ryan, you were very adamant, but I don't want to be a basketball school. I want to be a football school.
Well, no, I hold the position that you don't have to pick. You don't have to say we're a basketball school. And then all of a sudden, like, that football just needs to go down the gutter. Like, that doesn't make sense to have to do that. You can just do both, right? You can be Ohio State or Florida, or I think those are the only two that I've ever done.
I don't understand. So I can kind of understand why a good basketball team can't field a good football team, because you've got to field, a bunch of players. It's a big investment. So much more goes into football than basketball. But I don't understand why football powerhouses don't have, like, their basketball teams aren't also powerhouses.
Yeah.
And Florida did it a few years ago where they won the national championship in football and in basketball. It's happened.
Sure.
But it's strange to me that you have football teams that are just amazing and like win every favorite in every game they play. And then they have a basketball team that, middle of the pack in the same conference as football.
I mean, Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia. And I think in Alabama as well.
Yeah.
It's like, how can you not be good at basketball? Or
you have so much money.
How can you not be the top upper echelon of basketball? So
even with all that talent in the state, Georgia should theoretically have a much better team. They should be competing for the top of the SEC, not competing at the bottom. I mean, let's hope they don't get it right ever.
That said, I do think that Georgia State's basketball success has been good for the entire athletic program at Georgia State, specifically the football. I think it's given a chance to people have heard the name that may have not have heard it before because of things that RJ and Coach Hunter did, and then returning to the tournament and what we did against Gonzaga, even though it gets lost in the mess of his first game and getting beat the way it ended up being. But we were so competitive in that game. Credit to basketball. Credit to Coach Hunter. We would not be where we are in both football and basketball if it wasn't for Coach Hunter, I don't think.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It's definitely like put us on the map in a way that we haven't been on the map. And it has to be attracting people back to the program in general.
Yeah, Cynical Peach is here. He says, saw some people predict Georgia State as a 8-9 win team. And I was like, is there another Georgia State school? Also, I was on the boat early on that GSU should fully invest in basketball and forget football. Yeah. Ooh. The funny thing is there are a lot of Georgia State schools, and it's really frustrating to me. I set up a Twitter search on TweetDeck to look for like Georgia State and football and basketball and things like that to see who's talking about us. And there's like Middle Georgia State College and Georgia State.
North Georgia State.
There's
College,
several schools
East.
that actually have Georgia State in the name, and I'm like, we need to get rid of that.
Then you get like Georgia State Patrol, and
I hate
you know
getting
it was funny.
And
I
that's
wrote,
fine.
I was writing something. I think it was about like the state law, right? Because politics stuff, and I wrote out Georgia State, and I wrote it out with like a capital S, and I was like, no, don't do that, Ryan. That's different. That's the other part of your brain that you have to shut off for a second.
I would have just done that. I just would have done that. I would have capitalized that as well. I
just left it as like a little Easter egg.
Exactly, and I would have highlighted it in blue.
We should all get passes
Put a
though when
little
we write
panther emoji right after it. Do that in your actual press release. Exactly. That's something we really haven't embraced as a program, is the paw print. I think they used to have paw prints outside of the sports arena.
Mm-hmm.
They did, yeah.
It was like the Clemson paw print, but blue, and I kind of liked it, but I know a lot of people that cared about this kind of stuff were adamantly against the paw print. Maybe,
I like the claw rips better. The rips, like the panther was shredding.
Put them on buildings.
Yeah, like shredding.
Yeah,
stuff,
they did that.
Like
they did that early on, like when they're like their hashtag was like on the prowl or something like that.
Yeah, on
like,
the prowl was
billboard
great.
With the yeah. We've had so many hashtags.
They pick one every year, and that's dumb.
But they didn't originally.
Wait, what is this year's?
When they started doing the hashtag thing, that wasn't a recruiting thing originally, was it? It's become a recruiting thing. But the hashtags before were just like we had
marketing.
one for a little bit,
and marketing just couldn't settle on something.
Right, and then now it's become a recruiting, which I assume do other schools do that? Other schools have hashtags for the recruiting classes. Yeah.
What is this year's?
Are they better?
You know?
It was Godspeed was 2022. What's 2023?
It was something stupid. Remember, it was like it was something not stupid, but something that like people that are in our like millennials even don't understand.
We are outside the age bracket of that type of marketing thing.
I forget what it was, but it was something that I just was like totally.
Pushing 23. Yeah.
I don't.
Thanks.
I don't know what that means.
Well, pushing P is like a term now.
I know. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I had to look it up and I forgot what it was because I have old man brain now. So
yeah, I'll never say that, so it doesn't matter to me.
I don't know if I don't know if I'm allowed to say it. I don't even know if that's something that
It might not be good for this podcast, right?
Oh no, we
have to wait till the last call.
Tim, now you got to say it too.
Yeah, everyone's got to say it now.
Tim, come on, man. We said it. You got to say it.
Pushing P.
There you go.
We're in it together.
We're pushing some P.
We're all canceled. We're all canceled. One other thing. So on the college ranking, the CBS college ranking, one thing looking at having Coastal as high as they did, and I keep on harping on Coastal because screw them, but looking at the entire rankings and then Coastal, I could see pretty much every Sunbelt school finishing higher. And Coastal is like the one that I'm like, if you made me pick one school that's definitely going to finish lower, Coastal's got to be it. There's no way they finish 36.
No, I'm with you. Yeah,
I mean, and that includes Monroe at 126. I think Monroe will be better than 126.
They'll be better.
When everything's said and done, Monroe will be better than that. Texas State at 122. They may be at 122, but
this is make or break year for them, though, right? They have to. They got a winner. Their head coach is probably, on the block or actually off the block.
Yeah, they're going to cancel the program.
And I feel like ULM, they'll definitely do better. I feel like they surprise someone last year. They won a couple games that no one thought they'd win anything.
Did they beat like USA or something? They had 3 or 4 wins last season, I think.
Like when you talk about games that don't sound interesting at all, it's
use the word Monroe.
ULM USA.
ULM's right up there.
I mean, ULM USA just sounds like something that I would go out of my way to not watch.
Well, so that leads into something I wanted to talk about as well, because there was an article about the Sun Belt having the American Conference in the crosshairs, and this is by a guy Shane Metlin at DNR Online. It's a newspaper up in, I guess, wherever James Madison is. I'm not sure if they're the one in Norfolk or which one's in ODU or James Madison. Anyhow, It's their paper. It's kind of like our old Doug Roberson, the guy that would cover Georgia State. As Shane does. He is writing so many Sunbelt articles. He's actually a good follow to have right now because he's a lot of good quality content. Anyhow, he has this article about having the American in the crosshairs, and I was thinking about looking at what the Sunbelts could potentially do in the coming years. I just don't see it being that attractive to these other programs when you have schools like Monroe. The East Division. I get it. Maybe I'm biased because that's where Georgia State is, and that's where the teams that we're going to be playing more regularly. But when you're trying to find a new team to join the conference, especially if you're trying to go to 15 and 16 teams, the Sun Belt, okay, yeah, there's some great teams in here, but then there's the West Division. And outside of Lafayette, is there really a program in the West that would be attractive to anybody looking to play them on a regular basis?
Southern Miss.
Maybe, yeah, Southern Miss.
Southern Miss now, yes. Southern Miss now. And I mean,
Arkansas State on the fringe, right?
Yeah,
maybe Troy. But I feel like trying to find that best conference for these teams to be in, you can't kick conferences or teams out of conferences, really. And I can't see the Sun Belt really truly. Well, we did the basketball schools, but they pretty much made it. They pretty much said we're going to be a football conference now. So, yeah,
we're going to boot these football-only schools.
The non-football schools.
They were football-only
schools.
I was talking about New Mexico State,
Idaho.
Those were on temporary. Those were associate members on temporary contracts, and associate membership's a completely different thing.
Yeah, we didn't renew them. Come on, we booted them. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just different words.
Right, but I'm saying you can't just non-renew Monroe. You can't non-renew Arkansas State.
What I would say to that is even the SEC has Vandy, right? So they're always going to be nobody in the SEC was like, Texas, you ought to come to the SEC because we've got Vandy. They were like, look, we're going to join anyway because you got Vandy.
It's a completely different comparison. You're not wrong in what you're saying, but the scale of the programs or the conferences are such that, yeah, you've got Vandy, but the money is just so ridiculous. It's so huge that it changes everything. Now you're looking at coming into, if we were to add one or two teams to the conference, all right, you're going from a 14 to a 15, 16 team conference. It's a lot of stuff. And Vanderbilt would probably beat Monroe. Monroe.
Sure. I mean,
I just feel like you've got a lot of cream, but then you got a lot of garbage underneath it. So,
SEC.
If the Sun Belt,
you say cream and garbage?
He did. And I was trying to think of
a better analogy, but that just kind of came to mind. I didn't know where to go with it. Anyhow,
I got it. Cream rises to the top. It just was a little. Maybe
cream and I don't know. I don't drink things with cream. What do you like? I don't know. I just can't see a lot of teams wanting to join this conference. Like there's talks of the ECU, Memphis, trying to go for Memphis or UAB, trying to poach them from the American. And I'm like,
try.
Maybe if it was a team or a conference that had, select Sun Belt members. But when you have to look at the entire picture, the entire thing, no. I just don't think that it's that attractive to these these other programs.
What if the Sun Belt drops ULM, adds one of those programs, then implements a policy that says we're going to rotate people and we're going to kick you out of the Sun Belt if you're the bottom rung for 3 years in a row or something?
I don't think
anyone would sign up for it. Yeah,
I would write a letter to our president saying sign up for that shit.
Who do you think is more likely to join the Sun Belt? ECU or UAB?
ECU for sure. The thing with them is, same thing with UAB. Well, no, not with UAB. With ECU, the current payout at the American is around $7 million a year, and supposedly Sun Belt is now paying out $2 million. But also, Americans only paying $2 million to the new members that the Conference USA 6 that have joined. So UAB, that's potentially poachable there, but I think ECU really fits the makeup. UAB is like Georgia State. Georgia State is the only school in the Sun Belt like that.
Sure.
at urban research university. So we don't fit the profile of the conference we're in so many ways. So ECU does fit that profile. So I could see them joining whenever their contracts are up. Which I think it was the same article that by Shea Metlin was the American Conference's to ESPN deal is up 1 year after the Sun Belt deal is up. So that puts the Sun Belt in a very prime position. And we're talking about 9 years from now, 2031. So it's not like anything happening anytime soon. But that puts the Sun Belt in the driver's seat of saying, all right, ECU, when that AAC ESPN deal goes away in a year, you're not going to be getting the same money. You're not getting the $7 million you're getting right now. Maybe in 9 years, Sun Belt will be able to drive $6 million or something. So it puts them in a position where they could be in the driver's seat of getting a school like ECU. And at the media day, Keith Gill, the commissioner of the Sun Belt, actually did make a comment about going to 15 teams, not staying not going to an even number. It was a single team that he has in mind. It sounded like as being a potential person. He said if the school's the right fit, the right geography, the right fan base. I mean, it's pretty much like he's talking about ECU.
He's talking about ECU. There's no other team Memphis does not fit, right?
Memphis has bigger aspirations.
We would out of all three of those teams, I think we'd want Memphis the most.
Absolutely, we'd want Memphis the most. And that's but I mean, if it wasn't for BYU, if BYU had stayed independent and not gone to the Big 12, then Memphis would be in the Big 12 with Cincy, UCF, and Houston. That's the only reason they're not there. And they're hoping them and SMU can make it to the Big 12 or something. Their aspirations are P5. Getting them to join a conference, a Sun Belt conference with the teams we have in it now, I just don't. Something's got to change dramatically.
Yeah, there's no way.
But if we could get ECU and UAB into an Eastern Division, I'd play that and just
and then just leave the Sun Belt.
Well, that's what I would prefer that. Now, I don't like bringing the trash down south with us.
That would only happen if the other mega conferences started splitting as well. We would not split. I know we talk about this a lot. Like if we got to a certain size, we would just split the East off. But I can't see that happening with the other mega conferences existing. If they start, dividing up, then we'll probably be like, well, maybe we should do it too, because it seems like we just follow the leader.
We're too big. We need to get smaller, right?
Yeah, and maybe it's just me growing up in Georgia that I don't have any interest in really any of the teams west of Alabama. I guess west of Mississippi, because I do like Southern Miss. That was a good ad. I think Southern Miss was one of the top two ads to the conference with the new four.
So you brought up a really interesting point of trying to get rid of that dead weight in the conference, David. I think, you tell the conference, hey, we have a new formula to do your payout revenue, and the formula has you at 0. So you can just keep playing in the Sun Belt year after year. They'll get the hint, right?
Yeah, I just don't think I just can't imagine it working that way. But
you never know.
Let's do it.
It would never happen.
And then also something else to pay really close to. If we add ECU, if we add just the one team, go to 15, do they stay in? They would be in the Eastern Division. Does Georgia State stay in the Eastern Division? I don't want to do anything that puts us in the Western Division. That would be the worst. Staying the Sun Belt. You guys all know what I feel about the Sun Belt as a conference, but we're in the best part of it.
Right.
If Georgia State, west, like what happened to Troy? Troy got bumped from the east to the west with these new additions.
I think Troy likes it over there, though.
I think Troy might like it. I think Troy may like it over there, but I wouldn't. I would not want to play those teams on a regular basis. So
you don't want to own the West?
No. Could you imagine Georgia State being in a West Division?
I mean, the Lafayette rivalry would blow up, right?
Yeah,
but
who cares? That just scares me. That scares me. That scares me.
I'm really enjoying having a rivalry with just a really shitty team. So it's fine with me.
The one thing that I take away from the Lafayette rivalry that I do enjoy is it just kind of like flows right into my Falcons Saints rivalry, and I
It
love that
does.
same hatred. It's a double dip on that hatred, you know. Like
Yeah.
it's just like it's like a deep.
It's almost
chocolate-coated
natural for
hatred.
you, right?
Exactly, and it which is weird about it is I don't feel that same way about Monroe. Like obviously I hate Monroe being from Louisiana, but I just don't care about them that much. Maybe because it's not really been super competitive with them, even though they did
and they
break,
didn't have
even
like
though they
all of
did
the
break Dan Ellington's leg or tore his ACL. So I should hate him. I should hate Monroe the most. Lafayette's never achieved anything.
I don't just those basketball days though. I mean, like it just got so built up with, and it was the fans really, you know, that like built that up so much. So, well,
Oh
and,
yeah, the
and
Bob Marley
you know their
chants.
coach's
Bobby
wife
suck, yeah.
being a racist.
And there's
What?
that.
And there's that. Yeah. We on time. Oh,
I think
30 minutes.
cynical Peach is out there saying that he or she doesn't think that ECU would come. So I want to challenge cynical Peach. What team would join the Sun Belt?
What did he say here? He says there is a delay, so we'll go back and read this. I'd love to add UAB and FAMU to the Sun Belt. FAMU is a strong alumni base, and we can get in front of recruits in Florida. I don't see ECU leaving because they want to play in New Year's Six Bowl.
I don't know if FAMU would want to join the Sun Belt, right? I mean, you know, I think they're happy right where they are. Is what I've gathered.
Yeah, and I mean, we're not. I don't want to be in a conference that's in the business of promoting FCS anymore. If the Sun Belt has really taken that step, as you know, being that we're supposed to be that the new American or rivaling the Mountain West and the American for the best G5 conference, then you're not promoting from.
We're not the bottom rung.
From FCS, yeah. So while if FAMU wants to make a move, then their spot right now would be going Conference USA, because Conference USA needs members badly. Nothing against FAMU. That's not the conference I want to be in.
And again, I don't think they want to go anywhere. I've just never had any indication of that, and like you know, it seems like HBCUs are content.
Where is FAMU? Where in Florida are they?
I
know, but where in
I think
Florida?
it's Tallahassee. I thought it was Tallahassee area.
But that's one thing. If we were to add a Florida school, I would want to add Panhandle, Florida, like that. I would not want to go deep south in Florida because that stretches the geography big time. Now, as a visiting fan, maybe I do want to go to South Florida for a weekend in the fall. Maybe I do.
I don't know. I was excited about FAU, FIU when we joined. Not like excited, right? Middle Tennessee and Western Kentucky were the reasons I was really excited. My secondary were FAU, FIU. Basically, all of them moved right when we announced we were coming.
Yeah.
But
I was more excited about FAU. They're definitely on a different trajectory than FIU.
Yeah, I just figured it would be a good trip, you know, like it'd just be nice to
go to the beach in October. Yeah.
Michael Hall says the only FCS team you'd want to accept is Chattanooga, UT Chattanooga. I'm like, no,
it's close.
It's close.
They'd be west.
Yeah, we'd put them on the west side.
I mean, I'd go to that game every year.
Well, I'd go to the game. There's a brewery right across from the end zone.
See?
Yeah, my sister lives in Chattanooga. I visit over there, and you can sit on the front porch of this brewery, and you can like see their stadium, their field. No, I would not want. Give me more reasons for Chattanooga to move to Sunbelt.
Rock City every year.
I would take Middle Tennessee back before I'd want to promote Chattanooga.
But I want Middle Tennessee back, so.
But you want Middle Tennessee back, so.
Yeah. Well, but I don't want Chattanooga back.
So we're gonna agree on something. Look at that. Oh man, do we beat that one to death? Was that good? There was quarterback ranking. There's quarterback. While we're talking about rankings, there's quarterback rankings. Athlon ranked the quarterbacks in the Sun Belt, and Granger comes in number 3, which I think
he had a good game.
Yeah, well, you look at it last year. There's a bug in here. If you see me swatting my hand, so when he came in last year, we were hot garbage, and he was the cream that rose to the top, and we did really well once he came in. So
no, we did. So here's the deal.
He was extra creamy.
What's the deal, Ryan? What's the deal?
We didn't, and it wasn't his fault that we won a bunch of games. Like it just. All right, I gotta put.
He's explaining why he's going on mute after he goes on mute.
It wasn't Granger's fault. We won a lot of games.
No,
it was
a team game. It's a team game, and what we watched here. Let me now. Right. So what we watched game in and game out was a very average to below, like just below average quarterback play, just well enough, and the rest of the team did really well. Right. That's what we watched, and there was one really great Granger game, and it was
the bowl game.
Bowl game. Right. I mean, and that was like elite quarterback game, right? And those stats are just such outliers and are included in all this stuff. And like, I just don't. If he's good enough to win, that's fine. But he's not the cream that rose to the top.
So here's what you're missing out on, Ryan. Is we know this. We know that these guys do not pay attention to the Sun Belt in detail. So what they saw was quarterback change, 4 games, whatever. 5 games into the season that we went on an insane win streak or 7 of 8 or whatever it was. They saw that, then they looked at the bowl game and saw those ridiculous Mike Vick Madden numbers on everything, and they said, "Oh, he must be with things." And so he's behind Grayson McCall, who number 1.
Michael Vick Madden number. He didn't break his ribs, like.
No. Michael Vick is considered the cheat code of Madden. When you played as Michael Vick, you couldn't beat him. You couldn't lose.
I thought he was brittle. I mean, I guess in real life he's brittle.
Real life, yeah, he's like the Julio Jones. Yeah. I would say Julio Jones. In that
just
case.
Don't get tackled. You're fine. Right?
Punk is going to Tampa. Anyhow, yeah. So you got Granger behind, Grace McCall number 1, who is potential, I guess, is an NFL prospect, and then you got the ACC 2-time transfer at App State that is number 2, and then out of the other schools in the conference, out of that's 12 more schools. They think that Granger is the third best. I'll take it. I'll take that one. I'll check mark.
And
we got a great quarterback.
Maybe in that bowl game something clicked in him, and that's just how he plays now. And that would be phenomenal. I would give if we just kind of kept rolling with that, I'd be like, holy crap, we got the best quarterback ever. I mean, to play 12 games that way would be.
Well, obviously, amazing. if he puts up numbers as good as that throughout every game in, game out the rest of the season, this entire season, then obviously, we're looking at a magical season. We're looking at a legendary
Heisman
player.
You're looking at some P5 wins, right? I mean, you got the 2 P5 games. He could dominate those if he's playing that same way.
Yep, for sure. So
I'm on the Granger train, but I don't think that that's gonna happen. How about that?
I don't think so.
I put everything into quad last year and Coates, and I talked him up so much in the offseason, expecting just Dan Ellington style play from these guys all last year. I'm not putting any predictions on anybody. I don't want to be the curse that
interceptions and fumbles.
Yeah.
Well, Tim ran a poll in our Patreon group me, and everybody pretty much expects Granger to be about the same as last year, and I'm saying that that's not good.
Yeah.
It doesn't bode well for the wins in the season if he plays the same.
Well, it's good enough to win some games. That's proven out. But he's not like a.
That won't be 8 or 9 wins, right? I mean,
no.
We'll skid to 6.
We the 6
maybe.
I'll be very upset if we're a 6-win team.
Me too.
I expect more, but shouldn't that be the bottom barrel for everybody? Is like 6 keeps your coach around another year. It should be like the bottom barrel for it's if you're losing year in, year out. That's what school would accept that. What schools do accept that?
Right. Yep.
ULM.
No, they hired what's his face?
Bowden.
Grandpa Bowden.
Yeah.
They're trying.
And they
spend all that Duck Dynasty money.
They put together some wins last season, so we're talking a lot about Monroe tonight.
Hey man, they beat Bama.
They did.
They did beat.
They beat Saban's Bama.
Was that was Saban's first year at Bama?
That was his very first year. Yeah.
Yeah, they were, and that's when they were coming off their restrictions, right? They had like
I
their
don't know.
scholarships restricted
I
and
don't know.
everything. I don't know.
Obviously,
I
Bama
wasn't
has
paying
come
attention.
far from then.
Yeah, they've done all right.
They clearly need a rematch just to
Yeah.
make sure it wasn't a fluke.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna say, clearly that was just like a road bump. You know, I mean, it's fine.
Yeah, they clean up well. That Bama team, they clean up well. There was a we kind of talked about this a little bit with Granger. There was and somebody took the NCAA of 2014 and they put in all the updated rosters and logos and everything, and they did a simulation between Georgia State and South Carolina the first game. And this is an over an hour long watch on YouTube. Someone posted on Panther Talk. I think Ben posted it, but it's a simulation. This guy is just watching South Carolina, a Southern Carolina fan, and he's just watching this replay of the simulation of the game. And it's like 12 minutes before you even get to kickoff. So it's like watching a real football game because it takes forever for them to actually get to when the game starts.
At least have like announcer voice or anything. Like, is it?
No, it's just a guy talking about the play. And I watched skipping around. Maybe I watched 5 minutes of the whole thing. There was no way I was watching the full hour of that because I started it about an hour ago. So in prep for this, but it starts off. I mean, if anyone wants to watch it, skip ahead.
Spoiler
about 30
alert.
seconds.
Yeah.
But it starts off in the way that we would expect a game against an SEC opponent to be. We're losing big. Final score of the game, though, is 21-18 loss. I think that if we lose to South Carolina 21-18, that's a respectable loss. But I still want us to play to win that game. I still feel like there's a chance that we take one of the two from South and North Carolina this season.
Well, I would say that's not the typical P5 game for us, right? I mean, for any of the money games, right? Usually, it's depth that gets us, and we have enough starters to actually like put it to them for a quarter, 2 quarters, 2.5, 3 quarters, and then it starts getting away from us because depth starts being a little crazy. They start trading out players. And we do it too, but our second string is not our first string.
Yep. Yes, I agree. Or in the case of Auburn, just the officials decide they don't want the SEC to lose to Georgia State again.
And we blame that a lot, and we've talked about this to death. But I don't know if that's the nail.
Right. We don't know if we would have won if they didn't get that.
That was only second. That was a second down play. If I remember correctly,
something like that.
They still would have a third down, a third and 12 or something like that.
Right.
So they would have had a chance to do something there. Who knows? But it definitely puts a bad taste in your mouth, and people remember it. Like I said, I have my little Twitter searches that I follow daily, and there's people that still talk about how, Georgia State versus Auburn, and that should have been a win, or
even the Auburn fans were like that was a really bad call. So I'm not arguing it was a bad call. It was clearly a bad call, but I don't know if we win anyway.
I don't know if we win either, but I'll say that. I mean, I'll just go ahead and say that.
Sure, we had won that game for sure.
That game was locked up. It was done.
It'd have been 4th and 2. They would have gotten 10 yards out of it, and we would have stopped them.
That game was gift wrapped. The paper was on. The bow was putting on, and then my toddler came in and just ripped it apart. Tore everything off. Tore everything apart. My kid.
That's what happened.
Yes. Blame my evil children. So. All right, I got a couple more things that we can talk about, but I think we can hold over to last call. Some of them are kind of like last call worthy. What do you guys? I
gotta pee.
All right, well, I guess we're done. We're done.
We're going to last call then.
Where you can watch Ryan. No, we don't get that bad.
That's our
OnlyFans.
We do not have the OnlyFans yet. That's right.
OnlyFans. You can watch. You get behind the scenes, the pee breaks.
Was our OnlyFans discussion last week on last call, or was it on the regular episode?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
Did we even discuss it? Oh boy, are we just letting the cat out of the bag completely here?
We did.
We gotta have an OnlyFans. Yeah, I don't know what kind of content we're gonna come up with other than Ryan peeing, but yeah. All right, cool. For more conversations about Ryan peeing, find our last call on patreon.com/Atlanta. It is free to everyone, just available delayed to non-members. You can join as little as $3 a month. and it gets you early access to Last Call. You get access to our private group chat, which is always going daily, with good conversations about Georgia State and other fun stuff. So then discounts our merchandise at merch.saveatlanta.com. Check that out. We're gonna head over there, and another benefit is you get to watch live stream of Last Call as a Patreon member as well. So thanks for checking that out. Say goodbye, guys.
Hi guys.
Peace.